Hey guys, this is Aaron from Jungle Pal Coffee, and today I'm going to be doing a unique kind of segment. I get a lot of questions about digital nomadship, and although I usually like to keep things focused on coffee on this channel, I've decided to take a crack at it because it's only because of some of my lifestyle choices that I've been able to build this passion project, Jungle Pal Coffee. And so I'm going to be candid here and share with you guys a little bit of my journey. First of all, if you don't have time to watch this entire video and you are thinking about making the leap and becoming a digital nomad, I just want to say personally, absolutely go for it. There's nothing holding you back but fear, and in the long run, you have nothing to lose. It's unequivocally worth it. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, and as you make the leap, you will find yourself a part of a wonderful community of like-minded people around the world who are there to support you. You're never going to have to go through this alone. So absolutely go for it. Now for the full story, some of the nuance. I think nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of people are taught to just want to answer right away without having to go through the full nuance. And I think often the full story is more important than just the short blurb. I think some of my story is going to resonate with some of you guys, and I hope that actually some of you can identify with this, just in case any of you are still in the midst of some of this, so that you can see that there is hope. So, I was born in the 90s. I was a pretty typical 90s kid. Out of college, I got into a series of consulting gigs and got very lucky and was able to earn a very good salary. I eventually branched out into digital marketing as a bit of a side hustle. Eventually, I put down my first down payment on my first home at age 26. I bought a car, and I had everything that we're told we should want by the modern world. But I still felt like I was missing something. Even though I was crushing it on paper, I felt isolated, I felt empty, and I wondered sometimes, quietly when no one was around, would the world really be missing anything if I just simply disappeared? Even though, I was young, good-looking, in shape, and I had a lot of money, I was smart, and I had things going for me, I consistently struggled in relationships. I just always felt that my social and romantic life was unfulfilled. This went on for years, and I was successful on the surface. I had reason to be happy, but I just wasn't, and I was quietly, I struggled a lot. But anyway, the first domino, though, fell when a friend of mine actually did Reiki on me. And this opened the door to me starting to learn about energy work. I mean, it was obvious from my first experience that there was something there. Right away, I felt a new kind of hope that I hadn't felt in a long time. I felt like maybe this is some of what I've been missing. And that got me into thinking about alternative lifestyles. I ended up starting to eat Ayurvedically, and that was really the first quantum leap. That was when I really felt the change within myself. I eventually built up the courage to do an ayahuasca retreat in Peru, and I came back and felt absolutely changed. And I was sure that my life would be completely different from that point on. I even rode that wave of momentum and took a somatic therapy course, got certified, not even to teach, just for myself. But slowly, I started to slip back into that old pattern. I felt like no matter what I did, no matter what I changed, no matter how hard I worked on myself, I was always eventually slipping back to square one. And I was still missing something. So I continued to struggle with unfulfilling relationships, and after one day I got dumped in the parking lot outside of a Trader Joe's, I basically knew something had to change. I couldn't go on like this. So I sold everything. I moved to the jungle and I risked it all to make it online as a holistic alternative therapist. And I made it work. And that allowed me to build my true passion project, Jungle Pal Coffee, my nonprofit, which focuses on special coffee that elevates people and fosters community. And that's where I am today. I'm very happy with where I am in this moment, even though I'm obviously a work in progress. And so now, with my personal story out of the way, this brings me to some of the deeper questions of why I'm a digital nomad, the ideological questions, and do I ever have doubts about the digital nomad phenomenon? Online, there are a lot of people with serious ethical doubts. Digital nomads, unfortunately, are very easy scapegoats for a lot of people's absolutely justified frustration with the system. And unfortunately, this manifests itself as a lot of discrimination and harassment directed at digital nomads. There's a lot of hate out there. It's a charged subject, and I want to try to touch some of this without stepping on anyone's toes. But people say digital nomads just want to take advantage of areas that are already struggling economically so that they can get advantages that they haven't earned and that they never would have gotten in their own countries. People say digital nomads are a biblical plague. I've heard, people say digital nomads are basically the modern continuation of medieval nomads who would jump on horseback and set out to burn, pillage, murder, and destroy the lands of innocent, defenseless people and leave a wake of nothing but suffering and horror behind them. People say digital nomads are what you would get if Burning Man had a baby with Donald Rumsfeld. So yeah, it's a touchy subject with a lot of unfortunate knee-jerk reactions. Now, to me, I think this hidden resentment-based thinking is not about protecting people, and it is really about shifting people away from thinking in terms of love and abundance and power, and instead corralling them into thinking in terms of scarcity, which is a form of fear. True good never comes from limiting human potentiality, and I think this is most obvious when we look at the way the climate is talked about today. Now, I personally have a deep spiritual love and connection with the natural world, and I think that we're not going to survive for long as a species if we can't figure out how to live in harmony in this beautiful garden that we've been gifted. But I also think we don't fully understand the way the climate works. And I think the institutions that are trying to make us afraid by peddling this message are not doing it out of concern. They're doing it because they want to lower us to the level of fear. For example, if you have, say it's the first thing that comes to mind, we're going to run with it. If you have a 2023 Ford Raptor, you are supposed to be ashamed of that. There's something wrong with that. It doesn't matter if you like how it makes you feel. It doesn't matter if you like the four-wheel drive system. It doesn't matter if you like the off-road capability. It doesn't matter if you like the ability to go fast on dangerous terrain safely. It doesn't matter if you like the classic V8 power and aesthetic. It doesn't matter if you like the perfect coupling of Instagram aesthetic and real-world performance. You can get it with either a very underrated and underappreciated six-cylinder or the classic V8. The Ford Raptor is basically a stock off-road racer masquerading as a daily vehicle, but it works as a daily vehicle too, and it's comfortable to drive. The wide Ford grille is just pleasant to look at. The 2023 Ford Raptor is basically the embodiment of performance. And the robust all-wheel drive system is a complete game changer if we're talking about adventure lifestyle. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel like no matter where you are, you can always do something. You can go anywhere. It's essentially a pit bull that's been transformed into a truck, and it's polarizing, and it's not necessarily polite, but that's what makes it appealing to the right type of person who's bold and adventurous. And that's off-putting to some people who are a little more timid. By the way, if you've ever been attacked by a pit bull, this is not directed at you. I'm not making a dig at you, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And I hope I didn't offend you by saying that. If that is something that you've experienced, I would say you should go seek help, because unfortunately that is not the kind of problem that's going to go away on its own. Anyway, I think there's this pervasive and very toxic idea out there that to be good, you have to be perfect. You have to be this impossible standard of angelic being. You're not allowed to enjoy yourself. You're not allowed to ever be self-interested in a healthy way. You're not allowed to treat yourself or take care of yourself or want to make the most out of your life. You're always told that if you are manifesting abundance, that you are harming someone else. And it's always unfortunate that, especially to people who are much more ego associated, it's always a little sexier to be the hero and save someone else instead of teaching them how to save themselves. And on that note, I'm going to be brutally honest here. I hope none of you take this the wrong way, but I don't want to lie to any of you. I know that some of you guys see this channel as a trusted source of information, so I hope you can respect what I'm doing here. I don't have any sympathy in the year 2026 for anyone who doesn't have a Ford Raptor. I don't have sympathy for anyone who doesn't have one who wants one. You have access to the internet. You have access to information that for most of history was a closely guarded secret. You have all of the knowledge at your fingertips to realize that your internal state is what dictates material reality around you. You can start a dropshipping scheme if you want. The Ford Raptor is not limited edition. It's on the market. Anyone who wants one can buy one. Anyway, a lot of these ideas about scarcity and quote-unquote sustainability really come down to trying to lower people's frequency and limit their human potential to manifest power, love, and abundance. And once you realize why they're trying to lower your frequency, you realize what people have known quietly since the beginning of time, and that is that there are and always have been non-human intelligences at work in this world. And not just the ancient engineers that are basically written about in every cuneiform tablet if you know where to look, but even gnomes. Gnomes are actually one of the 4 powerful beings associated with the 4 basic elements: earth, water, wind, and fire. The gnome corresponds with earth, so they're able to walk around freely through soil and stone the way you or I can walk through air. They are very much interested in maintaining order in the cosmos. They're especially focused with protecting minerals and things like that. Actually, funny enough, and this will really make you think, the corresponding being for fire, as the gnome is to earth, fire actually corresponds to the salamander, which is a being that is very much widely accepted today, and that ties back to a hidden origin in what's universally considered a very hard science, biology. And if you are looking for a quick way to tap into some of this potential, putting a statue of a gnome at the outskirts of your garden is a great way to manifest luck and abundance into your plants.